So should you go for your potential, or should you essentially play it safe and take care of everything that you've already built up in your life and in your career? And I've been having so many revelations lately on this point. And when I talk about these things, it's important for you just to know that I'm not saying this as motivational quote, seize the day, face your fear and just do it anyway, go for your dreams. I'm really speaking from concrete client experience, real people where I've seen them go from one thing, being an average kind of person with problems just like everybody else, going from there into some pretty incredible career changes, salary upgrades, promotions, amazing projects. And so I'm always studying, how do those kinds of things happen? What is the science behind them? What is the philosophy you need to adopt in order for those types of changes to happen for you in your career, so that other people look at you and they go, oh, aren't you lucky? How did you get to triple your salary? That can't be realistic. That can't be possible. You must have had help. You must have this, you must have that, you must have no problems at all in your life. And of course, that's never the case, because I can tell you all of the people who go through my career program are they're amazing people, but they're very normal people with all kinds of normal problems, life tragedies. They need to, pay their mortgage. They need to feed their kids. They need to think about, do I want to go back to school or do I not? They need to think about, am I even a talented person on this earth? Like, aren't there people who are better than I am? They have all of those usual fears and doubts that you probably have, that we all have, right? We're all humans. We all deal with that kind of stuff. And so they're no different, but then how do they get from point A to point B all of a sudden? And what I am realizing is, a lot of it has to do with this question of, do I go for the dream? Do I follow the potential, the dream, that exciting kind of thing that I'm chasing? Or do I play it safe and just think, okay, well, I'm pretty lucky to even have a paycheck, so let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just stay put and enjoy what we have and just try not to lose that. So it's that whole kind of comfort zone, safety predicament where, it's very easy on one hand to say, go for your dream, but then it's like the reality sets in and, okay, well, I need this job, it's a pretty good job compared to what a lot of other people have. Shouldn't I just hang on to this? And what I have noticed is that if you go through life trying to hang on to what you have, and you're more focused on the collector's mindset, the frugal mindset, and there are different ways to think about it, but it's that mindset of better hang on for dear life to what I already have, whether it's, your money, like you don't want to spend a single cent because, oh my God, I have this cent in my bank account, I better not spend it because there will never be, who knows, maybe tomorrow there'll be no more dollars or cents coming in, so I better hang on to this one, right? So focusing on like the collecting, the keeping versus, okay, how can I just earn hundreds and thousands more dollars so I don't have to care about the, 1 cent pennies in my account. The other way to look at it is, it's like the people who stay in a relationship because, oh, well, I've already been 5 years with this person. And it's not that exciting. I'm not really in love, but 5 years, I don't want to have to restart that whole process again. So I'll just hang on to what I have and just be comfortable and just stick with it. And we all know how that also ends up. And it's really the same with your career. I see people all the time going, well, this job is not so bad, and I've worked hard to get to where I am, and actually other people would kill for my job. Like, it is a pretty good position. So I better hang on to what I have. And I have these other ideas and other hopes and dreams. And of course, earning double what I'm earning now, that sounds great, but it's also pretty good what I'm earning now. And so, well, I'll just kind of stay put and try to keep what I have. And they cling on to their current reality. It's really that I think that the scarcity mindset is a part of that. And what ends up happening, and the more people I talk to, the more people's journeys I follow, and I see people, that I knew them like 10 years in the past, and then I see them again 10 years later. And it's so interesting to see where people get to, because sometimes the person you meet 10 years ago who seemed to be doing great, they stagnate, and they were doing great back then, but they haven't moved since then. They haven't followed their potential. They've just clung on. They're clinging on to what they have, which, yeah, it was a great job they had, but they cling on to it because it's already good. They don't want to go any further. And what ends up happening is, let's just say the situation never turns into something really great. Either they have that loss of confidence that comes with not doing something that they really love. They're no longer feeling challenged. Maybe they were feeling challenged back in the day, but now they're not anymore. So now their confidence is degraded. Now they're not making any kind of an upward motion. So they're bored. They start procrastinating. Their value starts to go down, and before you know it, they don't have a job anymore, right? Or tragedy, disaster strikes, as it does do in the world that we live in, and just something personal comes up, something crazy comes up, someone in their family gets really, really ill, and they're forced to leave their job, or just tragedy strikes. They played it so safe, they lined up all their cards so perfectly, and then something happens and it all falls apart. And when you're in that kind of scarcity mindset, when you're in that accumulator's mindset, where you're hanging on for dear life to what you have, it is really, really, really difficult when change happens to you. So change is inevitable. I mean, we definitely in the last 2 years, if that was not a lesson we've learned before, that is a lesson everyone came to terms with over the last 2 years. Change is inevitable. There's so many things we don't have control over. And so if you don't take control of your own change, and you don't decide to create change, then change is just going to happen to you. A bunch of things, you're going to be forced to change. There's no such thing as either choosing to go for your dream and getting out of your comfort zone, or getting to stay put and stay safe. Something is going to happen that's going to make you very, very unsafe. So you might as well choose your own change, already be out of your comfort zone, already be doing lots of unsafe things on your own, so that when those things happen to you, you're ready for it. You're used to navigating with the ebb and the flow of the times, and you can handle it. Like, you've built up that skill set. So it's really about following and investing in your highest potential, following that part of yourself, which is the higher part, because we all have the lower part and the higher part. And so, when you're acting from your higher self, people look at you and they go, oh, wow, you're so amazing. I wish I could be like you, taking all those risks, doing all those big things. But, oh, little old me, I couldn't do that. And of course, you also have your little old me. You also have your part that is afraid, is like, no, that's not really realistic for you. Oh, come on, this is silly. Like, just stay where you are, just don't try to be anything more. We all have that part of us, but it all comes down to making different decisions. So it all comes down to, okay, but from which side of you are you going to take your decisions from? Are you going to take your decisions from the lower self, that self that is like, nah, well, you're not even that talented. Who do you think you are, right? Are you going to base your decisions from that person who's always going to decide to just stay basically where you are, play it safe, doubt yourself, make decisions out of fear? Or are you going to take your decisions from your higher self, who's like, I've got this, anything is possible, I have all this potential to fulfill, I'm going for it. It doesn't mean that higher self, that things are any more certain for them. You have no idea what that's going to look like. Of course not. But you believe in that potential. You believe that you're destined for more, and you're worth it, and you deserve more. And if someone else is earning double your salary, well, why don't you deserve double the salary too, right? You're not saying, oh, well, I guess they're different than I am. I guess they're better than I am, so they should be paid more, and I should just be paid what I'm paid. So really, really noticing that it comes down to that decision, the decision to really make decisions from your potential versus from that lower self. So I hope that was helpful. Having a lot of revelations lately, and the thing is, like, they're all really based on experience that I'm seeing with real people, and it makes me kind of inspired and excited, but at the same time it makes me sad when I see people who are still making decisions from their lower selves. And it's sad because you can see their higher self. I'm sure you've noticed this as well, even with people around you, whether it's friends, family, colleagues. You see that they have a lot of potential. You see that they're an amazing person. You see that they're capable of just amazing things. But then you see that they take the decision to maybe act from their lower self, and you go, oh, that's such a shame, because they could have been here. They could have been this person. They could have been contributing to their community. They could have been utilizing all those great ideas in their head. They could have been acting on those. They could have been a happy, like, shining light to the people around them, but instead they're afraid, and so they're just kind of playing small and making it through the day. Like, that is really, really sad. And unfortunately, that is what the average person does. That is average. And so when anyone starts just starting to take those decisions from their higher self, just being like, you know what? Yeah, I'm afraid. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. It's uncertain. But, if I was the kind of person with potential, and I was the kind of person doing amazing things and achieving my dreams, well, this is the decision I would take. So I'm just going to try that and see what happens, right? And there's it's not as unsafe as it feels, because there's obviously a way to do that in a smart way. It's not this thing of, all right, then we're just gonna all feel the fear, do it anyway, like, go for it, go for your dreams, insert every Instagram motivational quote here. You don't need to take action and follow your dreams without a plan and just be stupid about it and end up with no job and no salary. And yeah, it's not about doing that either. It's about having a good solid plan, leveraging your skills, so you're not, every time sometimes it can feel like a deconstruction. It can feel like you're losing everything, or you're risking losing everything. It can feel like that. But as long as you're being smart about it, you're taking all of the lessons learned throughout your life. You're taking all your experience. And when I say experience, I mean your job experience, your life experience, you're basically, you're everything you do in your life and your career is molding you into the person who you are right now. And so as long as you're taking that new upgraded version of yourself into that unknown future, you're going to make it out thriving. It's not about hanging on to what you have and trying not to lose anything. It's really about creating the kind of person who's going to be able to thrive under any conditions and is always going to be able to make it. So enough rambling for today, and I will see you on the next video.